You got to own your brand narrative. Over the past 10 years and over the next 10 years, there's going to be increasing spending on the wants. The wants are what you don't necessarily need, because most people now have food, they have shelter. It may not be the shelter that they want, but they do have it. But wants are what people demand now, especially in the consumer economy, because wants, things like luxury items, cars, they help customers formulate their identity and their place in society. Even travel is, I would actually put it in the wants category. There's a lot of people now traveling overseas for their first time. And a stamp from a different foreign country is a badge that says, I've arrived, I've succeeded, and it differentiates me from a lot of other people as well. This is a great opportunity now to create a narrative of a brand's fit in the customer's life. So with TravelZen.com, we want to be the ultimate provider for great travel experiences throughout Greater China and soon the world. We have products such as Yanchanghui Piao, things that combine hotels with concerts and other things. We have spokespeople like Wu Yuetian, Mayday, recognized around Greater China as one of the greatest bands in China. And they represent a fun, young, individualistic attitude toward life and, for us, travel. There's actually very few legacy brands in China, especially in the online space. There are really none. So it's a prime opportunity for you to come in here to tell your story. If you go down Huaihai Lu and you see there was a new Coach store opened a few months ago, it's very different than what it would be like in the US. Coach in the US is not a high-end luxury brand. It's a fashion brand. But in China, they've been able to come in here, establish themselves as an alternative to your Louis Vuittons and your Gucci, and now their flagship store is staring the LV store straight in the face. And it's been able to establish that niche, and they're telling a very different narrative here, and I believe they are succeeding in that retelling of their story here. So it's a blank slate for a lot of brands, and if you come in here and you tell your story the right way, you can really grab the customer's imagination. You want to stay focused. You don't want to be drowned in data. It's very easy to come here to start listening to consultants that are experts in China that will tell you 100 different facts. But in the end, you want to understand the basic facts and statistics about your industry. How fast is it growing? What the distribution channels are, what the maybe existing players are, if there are any, and what the opportunities are. Very basic things. Don't get drowned up in the data. You want to build on these facts and your own experiences and best judgment. All of you came to an MBA program, which means that you've all had previous work experience. You all know what it takes to make money in the industries that you all come from. A lot of the common sense things still make sense here. And China, while it is a different culture for a lot of you, business fundamentals still remain. And a lot of the things that you think are factors of Chinese economy, in my opinion, is more a factor of economy growing very fast. One that's growing 10% a year versus one that's growing 3 or 4% in a more stable economy. So the speed of things isn't necessarily Chinese historically, but it's just the way businesses are growing now. And you want to stay aware of the industry changes and how they impact your business. This is very, very critical, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Here's another thought. If you have a new product, it's best to launch it into a community. Ideally, where the need for that product is going to be the greatest. And a community is a community of like-minded people who actually know each other. A community is not something that a consulting firm might come in and say, this is a segment. This is what, if I make 500 yuan a month and you make 500 yuan a month, it doesn't mean we belong to the same community. It means we belong to the same income tier, but it's very useless for this data for me to actually help market to you or to anyone else within our income tier. What you want to do is you want to launch into a community that can actually speak to each other and spread your ideas. And a community might be tech workers in Beijing. It might be students in Shanghai. That's more of a community, not a market segment based on numbers and how much people make and how much they consume. Then make it easy for them to spread your brand. Put it out there, link it to Facebook, link it to Weibo, make it easy for them to get your message out there.